Hey guys, what's up? This is Casey,
And Coach Tom.
and this is Shot Science Overtime number 180.
My goodness gracious. Wow.
We want to welcome you guys to the live show. These are a show where we try to interact with you guys one-on-one, answer your questions, and we'll be here for like an hour. So if you guys want to stick around for that, cool. If you want to have more of a tutorial thing, go check out one of our other videos. You can get out now. It won't hurt our feelings. But we appreciate having you guys here. Keegan's here. What's up, Keegan?
Way to go, Keegan. You are number one.
Yeah. So make sure you guys tell people to check out our live show. That really helps us out. Make sure you go to all of our social media stuff, Shot Science on everything, whether it's Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, wherever we are, Shot Science. Video Games Live production says hi. Keegan says yeah. Blake says
right.
hi. Make sure you go to shotscience.com and you can check out all of our cool training gear. The jump box being one that'll help you train your vertical jumping or athleticism. Yep. You can get yourself a Shot Science t-shirt. You can get yourself a all access membership to our training there on the website. So if you like our stuff on YouTube, go check out that because we have everything in much more detail. Yep. Everything's more broken down. There's drills, demonstrations, all that. Yep. Go check it out, and we would really appreciate it. Yep. Shotscience.com. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to have a topic that we talk about at the top, and while we're doing that, you guys are going to send us all of your questions on anything basketball related. Shooting, passing, dribbling, defense, how to talk to your coach, passing, whatever it is. We will try to answer those questions as soon as we're done with our topic that we think is going to help you guys become a better player. Okay? Kareem is saying, hey guys, I'm watching from Germany.
All
awesome.
right, Kareem, cool.
Blake Hill says, what is your channel about? Basketball.
It's about basketball.
Video Games Live is saying, I love your channel. It helps me with basketball. Awesome. We love it.
Very cool.
Okay, and Kanal, we'll get to your question in a little bit.
All right.
Okay, so our topic for today, you guys probably saw, is triple threat is outdated. Mm-hmm. And, some people might not like that. It might be something that makes them a little bit irritated. But we have a reasoning behind it. And you want to get into that a little bit?
Yeah. The idea of triple threat goes back many decades.
What is triple threat?
A triple threat is a position that you get yourself into on receiving the ball where you are faced up to the basket and you have the ball ready to do one of three things. That's where the triple threat comes in. The first threat possibly is to, and I don't know that there has to be a particular order, but you can take, and usually what happens is that you'll get yourself into a position where some people will teach it where you have the ball up here in like a shooting position. Some people will take and have the ball low down on one of their hips so that they can attack off the basket. But it allows them these three options to drive, shoot, or pass. And so those are the three things that offense has been built around for decades. And the one thing that's really kind of important about that is the fact that you catch the ball and there's a moment of pause while you're waiting for these things to happen. Maybe there's somebody who's coming to set a screen, and so there's a pause of 1 or 2 or 3 seconds with the person with the basketball while they come to set a screen, or somebody is making a cut to the basket and maybe you can get them the basketball. And so what happens when you catch the ball, you've got to make a choice on what you're going to do. And that choice usually creates a pause or a break in the flow of the game. Even though it's not long, it's still a break and slows everything down. And so the options are, like I mentioned before, shoot the ball, dribble the ball, or give it up with a pass. Mm-hmm. Okay, and that's been pretty much staple for forever. Okay, and one of the things that happens when you use that particular basketball technique is that you usually are into jab steps, shot fakes, and those kinds of things while you pause and wait for the action to kind of develop around you. Okay, we don't particularly like that ourselves, and we don't teach the triple threat. What we do is we teach what is called the catch and address, and we'll deal with that a little bit later. But one of the things that happens out of that situation on the with the basketball in a triple threat is that the basketball is the pace of the game is slower because there are pauses when players catch the basketball and decide what it is they're going to do.
Well, here's what happens is that typically the ball gets passed, the person catches it, turns,
Faces
does the face up to the basket, and they can assess what they're going to do in the triple threat.
Exactly.
And you can imagine every time the ball gets passed to the next person, this happens, and it basically there's a pause, a hesitation. And what happens is that the defense is given time to recover.
Exactly.
And that's what we're not big fans of. And you can see like there's a trend in basketball where this is, the triple threat has kind of been phased away.
Yeah.
It's still something that you can use,
Yeah.
but it's not the best option because the pace of the game, the evolution of the game is to make sure that you are the one in control and the defense is always playing catch up against you.
Yeah.
And if you wait for that brief second, that brief pause, they can recover. And that's the last thing you want because then you're back to square one and you don't have the advantage.
Yeah, and often what happens is that the offense kind of bogs down while you wait for things to happen. Okay, so looking at the other side of that is the kind of game that you see being played a lot on the pro level, and that is the Spurs movement offense, where the ball is getting reversed from one side of the court to the other very quickly. You're forcing the defensive players to move all the way across the court. There are screens involved in this, and the ball never really stops very long at a particular place. They swing it from side to side, and they're looking for people coming off the screen. They're looking for people who are making cuts to the basket, but it all is very, there's a real flow to the game. And so they don't catch and hold it. When you were in triple threat, you catch, you hold, you look, you decide what it is you're going to do.
Even for a 1 second pause, that is enough time for a defensive person to recover.
Yeah. And the thing is that triple threat will be part of basketball forever. It really will be. But what we're seeing is a cycle now that's been going on for maybe the last 10 years or so that I'm kind of aware of, where you're seeing offenses that are being more mobile and moving like the Warriors. You're seeing teams like San Antonio, they've been running this for a number of years as well, where there's just an awful lot of movement. And that movement of players and movement of the basketball creates openings and makes it really difficult for defensive people to be able to stay up with it. And so we just think that is a real positive way to develop your offense, is to make the ball move, make the defense move, and move your offensive players, because that's what moves the defense as well.
And the reason that we want to talk about this is because that there's always like these kind of guidelines that people are brought up with, that when they're learning basketball, these are the things you should do. It's when people are learning plays, they learn exactly what they're supposed to do in the play, and that's all they do.
Yeah.
In this situation, it's like you catch the ball, you triple threat, and you have to do that. And we want to break that cycle a little bit. It's good to know your plays, but it's also good to know how to break off of that play and take an opportunity and create something that, presented itself. Same thing is true with this whole triple threat thing, is that, yes, you want to be able to face up, you want to be able to have all three of those options, but you don't want to be stuck in having to do that every single time you catch the ball, because lots of times you'll catch the ball and you'll catch it in stride and you need to go to the basket.
Yeah.
Or you'll catch it and you won't be faced up. The defensive guy will be all over you and you can spin off of him, or you can take a long 1-and-1 and you never had to face up.
Right.
So you have to have options. And when you think of triple threat, it was all about the options that you have, but it's not all of the options.
Yeah.
So you need to have the whole spectrum of options, especially in this game, because it comes real fast.
Yeah. And now one of the things that Casey was talking about a while ago is running of plays. And we certainly do that and have done that for decades ourselves when we're coaches. We have set plays that we run. And people who run this motion offense, like the San Antonio team and the Warriors and whatnot, they have plays that they run out of this as well. But everything is very quick.
There's no recovery time.
Right, and there's the options, or several options that you can do on these plays. Now, one of the things that happens is that when you condition players on a team to use the triple threat and to run plays, we call that running on rails, okay? So the player knows that I'm going to make a pass to the wing, then I'm going to cut opposite and screen for the opposite wing. He's going to come over the top. There's a double screen down low, so there's all of this motion that's taking place. And some of that is while one person is kind of holding the ball and waiting to see what happens. and we run through this different motion from side to side in a regulation running plays. And the thing that we often encourage our players is this, is if you see an opportunity, you jump off the rails and go get it. And so oftentimes they'll find somebody who is lazy on defense, and they'll take and maybe all of a sudden change directions and come get the ball, and maybe they got a shot out of that. So we always tell our players, we're going to run on rails to some extent, but I want you to look for opportunities for you to jump off the rails and maybe get something else going. So that's all important stuff.
All right, Daryl Taylor is over here saying pausing and triple threat are two different things. You can be in triple threat and not pause. Okay, we're not saying that they're mutually exclusive, but here's the thing. Triple threat takes time.
It does.
And we're not saying that you have to pause, but it takes time to turn and face up. We're saying that that is one option that you have, but it takes time. And if there's a situation where you're being closely guarded or you're catching the ball in stride or whatever, that is not that's not an opportune time to face up to the basket.
Right.
You need to make that attack happen right now.
Yeah.
And we're not saying that you catch and triple threat and you pause 1, 2, 3. That can be a part of that, but it's not what we're saying. We're saying that triple threat does involve a period of time where you have to face up to the basket.
Yeah.
It just takes time to do that.
And you get into such things as using your jab step or shot fake or rip through, stuff like that.
These are all things that we approve and like.
Yeah, we certainly support all of that. And we don't totally negate the idea of triple threat because, like I said earlier, that's going to be with the basketball forever. And it just will be because we go through periods of changes and things that happen in basketball. There was a period of time many years ago when a 5-out motion was really, really popular. And then that kind of changed, and there was another kind of offense that kind of took over. We got to a point maybe 20 years ago, maybe less than that, where dribble drive became an important part of what basketball teams did and how they approached the game. And the shooting the three ball was such an important part of dribble drive, okay? And so now we're starting to see, at least on the pro level, and it'll probably feed down more to college and then to high school as time goes along. But we're just saying that we don't particularly agree with that as a vital part of basketball right now. It's kind of changing. The other thing, and let me run by
it's just piece of the pie.
Yeah. And different coaches are going to take different attitudes about that. There are going to be a lot of them are going to be triple threat guys forever or women forever, okay? And then there are going to be those who are going to drift away from it because they want to see more of a flow in the basketball game like we're talking about. And so it's not like it's going to go away and disappear. It's not going to be like a relic. But we're just seeing this change in the way offense is put together recently.
It's one of those things where it bothers us because young players and kids, when they're learning the game, they're told these very specific touchstones, like you have to do these things, you have to do this. If you get stuck into thinking that you can only do triple threat when you catch the ball, that's a harder thing to shake as you get up and start moving up through basketball. So one of the things that we want to make sure is that the full spectrum of options is available to whoever is learning the game.
Yeah.
Triple threat is one viable option for certain situations, but there are many situations and they require different approaches.
Yeah. There's something else that kind of goes along with triple threat that has always been kind of a drawback for me, and that is this. We usually talk to all of our players that we coach, and we coach a lot of them. And one of the things that we talk about is triple threat. Have you ever been taught triple threat? Yes. Show us what that looks like. And they will take the basketball and they'll immediately put it down on their hip, okay? And the thing that's really important there is that usually is something they pick up when they go to clinics, because that's the clinic staple. I think probably most clinics that Casey's been involved in or I've been involved in one way or another over a lot of years is they always teach the triple threat, okay? But then once the triple threat is finished and then they go on and they start playing, nobody demands that you get into the triple threat at all. And so that's all just wasted time as far as I'm concerned, because here you teach somebody how to do something and then they go play and you never demand that that's what they do. Okay, and now that's not everyone certainly, but many that we're familiar with, that's the case.
Okay, so what is the other options that we present?
Well, one of the things that we like to do is what we call catch and address, and catch and address, and I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail here on it.
We have it on our shotscience.com
Yes.
all access area.
Yes,
So.
and you want to check that out and kind of see what you think about that if you're interested in doing that. But first thing that we want to do is this, is that our first option is to score. And so when the ball is coming to us, we actually start our footwork for the shot while the ball is on its way. And as the ball is coming to us, we're making a short step with the foot that is closest to the basket or closest to the baseline. It's a little short step, not very long.
Your inside foot.
Right. And that is a rhythm step for us for our shot. And one of the things that's so important is that when you're learning how to shoot the basketball, rhythm is such a part of it.
It doesn't matter if you're beginning; it matters the whole time.
Absolutely. And the thing that's really important is this: is that rhythm on your shot really helps you be more successful. Is it make it completely successful? No, it doesn't, but it makes it more successful when you get that nice rhythm. One of the things that happens is that when we're young and we start to learn how to dance, the first thing we do is move our feet. And even as adults, we do the same thing, maybe not as vividly as young people, but anyway, that's the idea, move your feet. And that's how we express our rhythm, is using our feet. And so that's how we teach people, is that when that ball is coming toward you, you've got your hands out here as a target, and while it's on its way, you're taking that little short step, and on the catch, you're turning right to the basket, and the ball comes up into your shot pocket. And so you're ready to shoot the ball right away. And because of the footwork, oftentimes the defense can't react quickly enough to get to you to stop that shot.
Well, what you're doing is you're effectively making them have to react to you.
Yes.
And a lot of times with the triple threat, it's not that way right out of the gate.
Yep.
And so you're essentially trying to create a move to get them out of position.
Yep.
Whereas if you're doing this catch and address, they're basically out of position already because they have to catch up to what you're doing.
And essentially the options are the same when you stop and think about it. But when we're teaching catch and address, our first option is we're looking to shoot it. And that is an important element, because and we tell kids this, the thing that is important is that the game is about who outscores the other team, not who out triple threats the other team. And so what we want to do is catch it, and we want to take and look to shoot it. If it's not there because the defense is closed out, then we can maybe give them a little up fake, we can give them a jab step, and we can go on and either put it on the floor or we can pass it to another player.
And all this happens without hesitation.
Yeah.
You're catching in stride, looking for the shot, and if the shot is not there because it's contested or the defender's right on top of you, you go on them. Yeah. It is really not a situation where you sit there and assess.
Yeah.
It's triple threat is one, like I said, it's one where you're trying to create this situation where you're getting them out of position.
Yeah.
Catch and address, they're already out of position.
Yeah. Okay. So just to kind of recap. With this whole thing is that basketball is kind of in this metamorphosis right now, where it's changing to more motion of players, more movement of players, more movement of the basketball, making the defense have to make judgments, calls really quick, switch really quick. You'll be able to get into a lot of screen and roll situations when you keep moving that ball from side to side. Okay, I'll let that go now.
Okay, so we suggest you guys kind of try to incorporate catch and address more than something like focusing just on triple threat. And if you want more information on the catch and address, we go into super detail on the all access area of our website. Yep. And if you guys want a free month of that, all you have to do is do the promo code at checkout, capitalize all this, 1 free month ! And you get a free month. So go check that out. We talk about catch and address. We think it's super important if you're trying to be an offensive player that has the defense out of position from the get-go, instead of trying to create that situation once you have the ball in your hands. Okay, so we're going to shut that one down. If you guys have more questions about that, let us know. Let's jump into answering your guys' questions. But before we do, get your hat straight and tell people what the question of the week is.
Okay, the question of the week. Where in the world are you located?
Yeah, where are you guys from? We want to know if you're from Japan, or Argentina,
Lithuania,
Yeah, Lithuania.
We want to get Lithuania
Our
in
special
every week.
guest every week.
Okay.
So let us know where you guys are from. And always, we appreciate it if you guys go out in your town and you tell people about Shot Science Basketball. It helps us grow the team, helps us know that you guys are out there spreading the word, and it makes us want to do more cool things. Yeah. We got Kunal, who's from India. We have Daryl Taylor, who's from Gilbert, West Virginia.
All right.
And I think we just had somebody from Kareem is from Germany. So keep sending those in. We'll keep shouting people out. Bulldogs is from Michigan, exclamation point. So keep sending those in, and we will keep shouting people out. But let's get into answering some of your guys' questions. I know that we said we would get into Kunal's here, who said, how to prevent taller players from shooting over you.
Okay, that's a great question. One of the things that is really important in basketball is, first of all, learning what is a shot, what is a good shot.
No, he's saying, how do you prevent taller players?
I know. And let me get to that. Okay. So when you face up to taller players who feel they can shoot over you, the first thing you want to do is crowd them. And crowding them means that you get in really close enough you can maybe smell their breath. Now you force them into another role which they may or may not have, and that is this. Maybe we have a rule that we teach all of our students, and that is they crowd, you go. And what that means is when they get right up into your space and they're really crowding you, you immediately attack the basket. And what happens is they have very little time to react to that. And we want to get, we tell them also, you want to take and make sure you get contact with them when you go by them. And what happens then, they're put in a foul situation. And so one of the things that is difficult, though, is many players can't put the ball effectively on the floor. They can shoot over the top, but they can't put the ball on the floor. And so what you want to do is get up and crowd them and try to take away their strong hand. When you crowd them, take away the strong hand, it's difficult for them to get a shot off with you right there in their face. And if they don't have a really good weekend, they can't go by you on that side either. So that's how we would teach people how to deal with that.
I'm disappointed, though. Your number one should have been, don't let them catch the ball in the first place.
Well, yeah.
That's like your big thing all the time.
Well, it is. We talk about defense all the time and not letting your person catch the basketball. So that's important too.
Make life hard on that guy so that getting the ball is a major bummer for them.
Well, yeah, and especially if you're playing in the post. We oftentimes will teach. In fact, if we have a situation where we have a smaller post and we got a bigger person that plays on the other team, we'll front that person to keep them from catching the basketball. Okay.
All right, we got Malali from the UK in London, Hans Gozolo from the UK,
all right.
Revelation from Chicago, Jose Antonio Mancho from Spain.
All right,
and
good.
Kareem is asking, Kobe or Jordan? Michael Jordan.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Kobe is great, but Michael Jordan in a class all his own.
Isn't he called the GOAT?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
But some people have opinions on who the GOAT is,
I
too.
I know.
Do you guys know what GOAT stands for? Leave it in the comments. We like to see if you guys know
see
that
if you
stuff.
know what the GOAT means. Okay.
Without Googling it.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Watching for Germany. Okay.
Yeah, Kareem. Dan is asking, hey, tips on increasing basketball IQ and how to move better without the ball. Two great questions.
Okay.
Tips on increasing basketball IQ.
Well, basketball IQ usually comes with development of your understanding of the game. Your understanding of the game comes from you participating in it in all different levels and situations.
Experience.
It's experience. It allows you to develop that aptitude, or what was the word he used there? IQ. For understanding the game and what you need to do, what you might do. All those things have to do with just experience.
Yeah, it's
playing.
It's one of those things where you want to be open-minded about stuff. You want to see lots of different kinds of basketball. Yeah. One of the things that was really surprising to people in the 90s was we were so used to watching NBA basketball and NCAA basketball, and then all of a sudden these international players started to come and play against our guys, and we would play in the Olympics and the Dream Team and all that. And it's a different kind of basketball. Yeah. These very skilled, not maybe as athletic players, but they're just very skilled, very disciplined.
Most of them can shoot it really well.
Yeah, and those guys came in and they changed the game completely from what American basketball basically was. And so you have to have this open mind, and it will make you that much better of a player or a coach or whatever, because you'll have all these different kind of touchstones of understanding.
Right.
So you need to have that. You need to have the analytical side, but you have to have the playing experience side as well. Yeah. It's very hard to become super knowledgeable about basketball if you've never, gone out on the court and played.
Well, yeah, and facing various teams and different players really helps a bunch too.
Yeah, the people that play it safe and they never leave their town, man, you get a rude awakening when you actually do branch out, because it's different once you get away from where you came up.
Exactly. The second part of that is
how to move better without the ball.
We have videos that we talk about movement without the basketball, where we talk about V cuts, U cuts, L cuts.
Backdoor cuts,
and that kind of movement, and what
flashing in the post.
Yeah, all of that stuff has to do with movement without the basketball, and that's an important part of the professional game today. If you watch, you find that there is so much movement of players from side to side, and you don't find too much of the post-up game. Once in a while, you'll see that those teams like San Antonio or whatnot will get into a situation where they want to give the ball to the post, and they'll do that, and then right back out, and they're making cuts from side to side. And so movement really is leaving a position and moving through, maybe for a possible pass. You don't get it, you keep moving, and you come to the other side of the floor. In fact, if you watch, most of the offensive players are making figure eight cuts from side to side and trying to get open and use screens at the perimeter. Once in a while, you'll find a screen up high, but they're moving just to get open, get somebody and get them a pass, so they can get an easy bucket.
I mean, the thing is that there are all these different options, and if you are the type of player that just stands there and think you deserve the ball, you need to take a seat, because that is not how it's played. And remember, we were talking just about the triple threat and how the triple threat is one of those situations where you lose your advantage. So if you're catching and addressing, you have the advantage because they're playing catch up to you. They're basically in recovery mode. If you're moving without the basketball, the defense is always in recovery mode. Right. They're trying to react to what you're doing. If you're just standing there, they don't have to do anything. And they can react once you catch the ball if you ever get it, and somebody can get it to you. But if you're just standing there, that's an easy way to guard you. If you're moving, you are a tough person to guard, and you're creating opportunities just by moving. So go check out our videos. We have a whole series on them. I think I might have even put it in the description of this video. Go to the playlist Moving Without the Ball, and you can find it. L cut, V cut, backdoor cut, flashing in the post. It's really about just moving, setting screens, and check all those out.
And the thing, basketball today, if you're a standing player, all you do is catch the basketball, and then you probably got to give it up. When you're moving, you create openings for yourself.
Okay. Somebody, let's see, who was answering?
Oops.
Hopefully we didn't lose our chat. Hold on.
Did we lose him?
Okay. Sorry, guys. We lost you there for a second. Please send us your questions. I stupidly lost them. Oh, no, they're back. Okay. Okay, where did that go? I wanted to say they're coming in as we talk. Okay, we'll get back to that in just a second. Let's see. Danny Piffin. I think this is a goofy question, but he says, I am cockeyed and I cannot dribble. Help me. Okay, doesn't matter what your eyes are doing. Go check out our video series on dribbling the basketball and how to dribble. We have Dribbling 101. We have how to develop your weak hand. There's a bunch of stuff in there. Go to shotscience.com and check out the all access area there. We have a whole series on dribbling and drills associated with that. And sorry about the cockeye. Malali is asking, why can slow players like Harden get past players easily?
Well, Harden is not as slow as you think he is either. But one of the things that he uses is that he uses a little dribble sequence usually to set the defensive player up. And then he makes a long step and a long dribble. And we call that our long 1-and-1. That's a technique that we teach all of our players. And what happens is that when you take that long step, you almost immediately take and have the person in a bad defensive situation, and then you reach out with the dribble as well. And what you find is that you're able to go by those people now. And Harden, like I said, is not as slow as he may look.
He's not slow at all.
Now, he can be very explosive, but he uses that long step and that long dribble, and he's left-handed. That's a big part of it.
And he's not afraid of contact, and he really has a good sense for exploiting those opportunities that are, he's getting the defense into recovery when there is a quick pause in the offense. Yeah.
Off balance a little bit.
Yeah, he's deceptive.
Yeah, and he's being left-handed. I mean, how many left-handed players do you play against in your lifetime? Not very many probably, and so that gives them a little extra jiggle there too.
Well, I mean, I think I heard they were talking about Chris Paul last night or something like that, and they were talking about how Chris Paul is very much, he's somebody that believes that deception is the key to basketball, and he's right. Because if you can make a defensive player believe you're going to do something and then do something else, that's really how you get them out of position, off balance, in recovery mode. And James Harden does that just as well as most anybody, and that's why he's able to get people so that they're recovering to him. And you just have to get to the point where you're able to make them think that you're going to take a shot, but you're actually going to attack the basket or whatever. Okay, Bulldogs. As a coach of junior high players, I'm thinking of really working a numbered fast break next season. Any input? Is it too difficult for kids to remember to run a certain lane after a shot and or a rebound?
That really takes some teaching, to be very honest with you. And I don't know that the junior high level, they would pick it up really quick. Certainly wouldn't hurt to try it. One of the things that we think is huge on fast break, and we try to teach people to do this all the time, is that we want to take off, and those players are at the wings. What we want them to try and get to the other end of the floor early, and not have to go to the baseline and then work back toward the basketball as it comes down. We want the ball to go fast, and we want those people on the wings to go fast. And when they go down there, they cross underneath the basket. And what happens is that as they pass one another and go from one side of the court to the other, the defense loses them because they're behind the defense. And it's really easy sometimes to take the ball, and when you've got those two curling players from side to side, one of them is going to pop open, and they're going to be open.
Yeah, I think the key is just having that very simple 3-lane fast break.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can do a 2-person fast break, but you really want to try to fill the lanes where the ball is being brought up the middle, and any other players are filling the lanes on the side, running up the sidelines, and then as they get down to the baseline, they do that curl across each other.
Right, and the thing that's really important too, I think, is rather than worrying about everybody having a number and this number goes there, sometimes you're on the opposite side of the floor and that doesn't work. And so now they're trying to cross the floor and get to where they're supposed to be. And so one of the things that we really teach too is we want our big, if he's not involved in the rebound, or even if he is involved in the rebound, we want him to sprint to a spot right in front of the bucket and post up. We can maybe get him with a pass right down the floor really quick where he can just get a layup. Then we have the wings on the outside who are running that curl if they can do it. And then the ball is coming up the middle, and there usually is a trailer who is the rebounder and inbounder on that break. I think that probably is easier for kids to understand.
Right.
There's 3 lanes, the outside on both sides.
I think one of the biggest things I remember from you teaching us when we were kids that was the biggest part of fast break was spacing.
Yes.
So when you're the reason that there's those 3 lanes is because you can get optimal spacing and still get the ball up the court fast, and there's options because of the spacing. If people are running up the court and they're this close to each other, that's very easy to defend.
One person defends 2.
Spread it out. Now that's hard for one defender to guard. So that's what you have to think about and teach these kids, is that you want to have this spacing as much as you possibly can. Those 3 lanes, that's going to be a lot of spacing. If there's a 2-person break, they need to be spread apart. If it's a 1-person break, got to bring it up the middle. I mean, it's one of those things where if you teach them the basics of spreading the floor, getting the spacing, and filling the lanes. That's really the key.
Yeah, and when they're really young players, like junior high players, sometimes it takes them a long time to pick it up. And I think if you just use a simple concept like we were describing right there, you're going to be well off. And the fact that they got to get the ball up the floor, that's the biggest problem. One of the other problems on the fast break is this one too, is that as soon as there's a basket made, or there's a rebound, the person who is usually the point guard, they come to the middle of the court and they kind of stand and wait for the basketball. And so they throw the ball in, and from a standing start, then they got to take off and go. We really like having that point guard or the person we're going to get the ball into right away to be a little further up the court, and we want them moving. And we like the fact that they're moving from side to side. In other words, if I'm over on the right wing and the ball goes up and it goes in the basket, instead of waiting for the ball there, I'm cutting across the court so that I'm on the move when I catch the basketball. It's harder to defend that, and you get the floor up the floor a lot quicker.
And one of the things too is that when you're teaching young kids, teach them how to play, not just where to be and all these positions that they need to do and make it super complicated. Teach them how to play so that they can figure it out when they get to their next team, or if things go all to hell, and they can kind of play off of that.
Yeah.
If it's okay, I know I need the spacing and I need to do this where I'm curling at the end or whatever. That's much more effective than saying, okay, let's give you guys numbers. Let's make sure you guys are doing this, or it's super regimented. I think that that's a mistake, because almost always that doesn't play out.
Yeah, it doesn't, because we teach them how to do things, but then other situations arise and they don't know what the heck to do.
Yeah, I mean that comes back to the whole thing where if you teach these young kids, youth league, more plays than if they were to play for the San Antonio Spurs, that they're never going to learn how to actually play basketball. They're going to learn the plays and maybe figure that stuff out, but they never look for opportunities to play or to score. They go to another team and they're just not effective because they only do these plays. So make sure you teach them how to play and not just what to play.
Now, Coach, we've worked that over pretty good. Hopefully there's a few things in there that might work out for you.
I think spacing is really the biggest key.
Yeah, but I think the numbered break probably is a little bit more than they handle at that particular age.
Yeah, okay.
Good luck, and keep us posted on it next year. We'll be around. Keep us posted on that.
And Daryl Taylor's right. The GOAT stands for greatest of all time.
Exactly right. All right.
And DB11 also got that one.
Yep.
Guys, keep sending us where you guys are from the world. We want to see. We want to shout you guys out. We usually have tons of people. We need more people telling us where they're from. Okay. Daryl Taylor asks, how do you coach players to mentally prepare to shoot a free throw?
That's an interesting...
I think everybody has their opinion on that.
Yeah. And, my thought on it is this. I like to have the players come to the line, and once they have the basketball in their hands, to take a deep breath and let it all out. Don't hold it, and then take a partial breath, and now we're ready to go. And I don't think it's necessarily the mental part of it, but that relaxes you a little bit, and then you go ahead, and usually the free throw itself is going to be fairly I don't want to say effective, but it's going to be a lot easier, and probably your chances of success are going to be better.
Well,
the deep breath helps to relax you, because you've been running up and down the court and your heart's beating really fast, and you take that moment there to kind of get a deep breath, let everything slow down for a second, and then we're ready to go. And let me get that sequence a little more complete. It's one deep breath, sucking it all in, blowing it all out, and then take that last half breath, hold it, and then let's go. And let me continue. I can't stop here. I'm ready to go. Okay. The other thing is, oftentimes players, and even to higher level players, will come to the free throw line and they'll pause and they'll wait and they'll dribble the ball and they'll wait again and they'll dribble the ball again.
You ice yourself.
Yeah, and more times than not, I have seen players who do that miss the free throw. You come up there, take the breath, look at the basket, and let's go. Let's don't waste any time.
I think for me, I totally agree. I think one of the biggest things that sabotages people or ices them on free throws is that they are too caught up in everything else that's going on. whether it's people in the stands or people, there's just a situation in the game. Got to be able to shut that out and mentally clear that, so you just have one thing you're doing. The other thing is that they have these routines that it's almost like they're doing a performance or interpretive dance before they go into their shot. And for me, I know that when I have my free throw routine, that it's been the same one since I was probably in elementary school or something. It is 2 dribbles, and I don't look at the rim. And then as soon as I'm going up with my shot, that's when I look at the rim. Because if I'm sitting there and I'm staring at the rim, I know that I'm going to ice myself, because that's all I'm focusing on. But if I do my 2 dribbles just to get my rhythm, and then I go straight up, I don't wait, I go straight up into my shot, and as I'm going up, I look at my target. That's what I'm focusing on, is that, okay, there's my target. It's not like I've been sitting there staring at it and thinking and over-interpreting. You want to clear as much out as you can and make sure that everything is in the moment, instead of, icing yourself by just sitting there and waiting, right?
Yep, I agree.
If you have a question that you see, you can jump in there.
Okay.
Just say DB11.
Yeah, I can see it. DB11. I'm trying to play college basketball, and can I get a chance to come work out with you over the summer to get better? Well, you can do that. I don't know where you're from. We're in California.
Just send us an email
and we'll discuss it and see what's what.
Go to our website.
We love coaching basketball. And, it's really funny. When it's not any fun for me anymore, I won't do it anymore. But right now, I'm enjoying myself. I've been doing this for a long time, and I'm enjoying it. Okay. Just get a hold of us.
Whip out some numbers and blow some minds.
You can just send us an email.
Here's the thing. Go to our website. You should be able to contact us off of there. If you can't, send us a tweet, whatever. But here's what we can do. If you are in a place and you want to have us come visit you, you can get together the proper amount of people and the gym and accommodations for us, and we can come do the camp.
Right.
We would love to do that. Right. Or if you want us to personally come out and work with you, you just have to take care of us in that situation too, which we've done. You've gone to Los Angeles and worked with players personally at their house with them. We can do that. If you want to come visit us, you can definitely come out here and visit us.
It would be an awful place to have to come to. I mean, it's just a horrible place.
Yeah, we are in Santa Cruz, and we are right
on
here.
The beach, and
it's a tourist destination. It is one of the nicest places that you could possibly visit.
Exactly.
So if you want to come visit us and work on a camp, just let us know. If you want to do an online training, we can do that too.
Do that too, yeah.
So just let us know, and we can figure all that stuff out with you.
Exactly.
DB11 is from Chicago.
All right, cool. All right. And we have one from Germany.
We have Finja, who says wishes from Germany.
And they're right above there. There's another one there, too.
By the way, I was just in Dallas, and we were working with Dirk Nowitzki, and I was there with a bunch of my German friends, too, so that was a lot of fun. If you guys missed that, you can go to our Facebook page, and you can see the whole live show where we worked out with Dirk, and we should have a few kind of like behind-the-scenes videos. I asked him a bunch of funny questions. And we will have a giveaway for a Shot Science t-shirt that he signed. So if you want a Dirk t-shirt, we can make that happen.
A Shot Science t-shirt with Dirk's name on it, right?
Yeah, Dirk signed it.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Andre Sims is from San Francisco.
All right.
That's just north of us.
Just a little ways.
So, Andreas, if you want to come visit us, we'd love to have you down here.
Absolutely.
Bulldog says, thanks for the fast break answer. We'll try to follow up. Awesome. Okay. Let us know how it goes.
And if you have other things on it that you want to discuss, get a hold of us. We love talking about that kind of stuff.
Milali asks, what do you think of Giannis? Giannis Antetokounmpo. We think Giannis is awesome.
He's otherworldly.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. There's a reason why they call him the Greek Freak. Because his body just does not make sense. He is...
Never seen somebody so long and so athletic.
Yeah,
I mean, wow.
And he's getting more and more skilled as he gets older. He's just a kid still, and he's getting better every single season. So I would imagine him to become a big deal.
Maybe he's going to be the next GOAT, huh?
Hopefully.
All right.
We need to find another GOAT, I guess. Kareem Schulte, you must be from Germany because you're saying Mr. Mike is the best. Yeah, Mr. Mike was there in Dallas with us. He was a cool guy. And I think he sent me a video that I need to post.
Who's Mr. Mike?
He was like, they call him like the German professor. He's like did you watch the live stream with Dirk? He was the guy that was doing all the street ball moves.
Oh, okay.
But he's from Germany too.
All right.
I think he said he was Bavarian. But but yeah, Mr. Mike is awesome. This one is from X Finja, who says, do you have any tips for beginners? I play since 10 months, you've played for 10 months, but also games. Any tips for beginners?
Yeah.
Do your best to become an all-around, well-rounded player.
Develop your fundamentals from beginning to end, whether shooting, ball handling, whatever it is. Start and learn it. And go up the ladder with those skills and make them better. And the thing that's really important, Casey and I have talked about this 1,000 times, that the way that you develop yourself as a player. And
Three pillars.
We call them the 3 pillars of practice. And those are the ways that we think that you can really develop yourself as a basketball player. You want to give a little quick rundown on that?
Yeah, so the 3 pillars of practice. And if you guys have heard this before, that's cool. Spread the word. But the 3 pillars of practice are this. The first pillar is diligent, very purposeful practice where you are slowing everything down, working on your mechanics, and trying to put everything together and polish it up.
Yep.
So in terms of shooting, that would be something like the form shooting drill, where you're basically taking each element of putting together your mechanics and making sure that each element of it is working properly.
Exactly. And it can be at slow speeds too. We recommend that. Just everything is very slow, and as you start to pick it up, then you can kind of speed a little bit.
Yeah, and I will say something about that too, is that a lot of people think that they should just grab a basketball and they should just start shooting it at the speed at which they see other people doing it. That is not right.
Yeah.
You want to slow it down. You can literally do it so that you are in super slow motion, making sure you're getting everything in the right proper space. And then as you master everything at that speed, then start to pick up the speed, and you'll see that you've kind of built in that repetition and that muscle memory, and everything will start to really be consistent.
Right.
And so work slow and progress up. And that's that first pillar. The second pillar is game speed, game intensity practice. So you take everything that you did in the first pillar and you amp it up to game speed and the intensity of a game. Maybe you add in a defense. Maybe you just visualize that the defense is there. But you're doing, in terms of shooting, you're doing catching off the dribble or catching off the pass, off the dribble shots. You're doing, out of a move. You're making sure that you're doing everything that you would do if you stepped on a court at that speed.
Yep.
It's not casual shooting. It is very, very at speed, at intensity. Then the third pillar is game experience. So you take everything from those other pillars and you actually go play games, pickup games, school games, traveling team games, whatever it is, but you're playing competitively, executing those skills.
And let me throw in this. Usually when you start playing games, the mechanics and everything that you have worked on oftentimes will be a little sketchy, because you'll be a little intense and whatnot. And expect failure in the beginning.
Pressure's on.
Yeah. Failure in the beginning usually means that you maybe haven't spent enough time on that. Go back and hit it again. And as you begin to have more success when you play, then your game is going to start to grow. And so those 3 pillars are really, in our opinion, the way you develop your basketball skills.
And great players use failure as motivation,
Exactly.
not a reason to have self-pity.
Or beat yourself up and all that. Yeah.
I mean, if you miss a shot, you should use that as, I'm not going to miss that next time.
Yeah.
And if you miss the next one, well, next time I'm not going to do it. Going to spend more time working on my shot. If you miss a shot and you're like, oh, man, I am the worst. I'm in such a slump. I don't know how to. I mean, that's the person that they just never are successful. Yeah. Okay? So hopefully that helps you. That is probably one of the biggest keys, is those 3 pillars, and work on everything. Yeah. Shooting, passing, dribbling, defense, all of it comes back to that. Okay, let's go down here to the bottom. This one is from Den V Star, who's here every time we do a broadcast. Yeah. Don't know how you do it, but you say Happy Easter from Moscow.
All right, thank you so much. That's cool.
Awesome.
That's cool.
Hope you're spreading the word out there in Moscow for us. This one is from Kareem Schult, who's asking his own question of the day, or question of the week. How long do you play basketball?
don't know what that really means. How long do you play basketball? Does maybe how much you play?
Or how long have you
How
played?
long have you played? Clarify that for us just a little bit, and we'll answer that question for you.
DB11 asks, which NBA player had the best handle you've seen in person?
There's several of those guys that are so good.
I mean, in person makes it a little tough because we haven't seen every basketball player in person.
Exactly.
I would say, I mean,
Kyrie Irving is.
I was going to say
pretty,
Pete Maravich. I mean,
going back a few years.
Kyrie Irving is pretty incredible.
Yeah. And gosh, I've had a mental block there.
I mean, there's a lot of
Curry really is a very crafty guy too, and he doesn't get enough credit probably for his ball skills, but he's really good. And in order to play on the NBA level and play a point guard, you can't be a slouch. You've got to be pretty good.
I'm embarrassed because we should have said our friend Grayson the Professor Boucher.
Oh yeah, but he's not playing there, right?
No, well, I mean,
Grayson is awesome.
He's not an NBA player, but Grayson or the Professor has some of the most incredible control of basketball you'll ever see. And a lot of people say, "Oh, well, he plays street ball and he can play straight up basketball, and it is insane. He can take on anybody and give them a run for their money. It is crazy to see in person."
Yeah.
Okay.
Hassan there is making a call on the
where?
Right there.
Oh, Hassan is saying Blazers going to win.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see.
I don't know. We got to have some production there from other players than Damian Lillard. Right. Let's see here. Excuse me. Jose is asking, Marc Gasol or Pau Gasol? Who is your favorite? Well, those guys do kind of different things. It's interesting.
They really do. Pau Gasol, I think, I used to think that he was actually more athletic than the other guy. The other guy is bigger, stronger, and boy, he'd be a beast if he wanted to go to the basket. He goes and gets it. The game that I watched last night with him, he got 37 or something like that, and his brother had, I think, maybe 10. Okay, but his brother's older, and he's not quite the same player he was.
I think for me, it's like Pau Gasol was more of like a finesse.
Yeah.
He had more of a mid-range too. He was more of a craft, or not crafty. That's not the way that you say it either. But Marc Gasol is more of like a classic post player.
Yeah.
Physical,
but like physical.
But like an international post player.
Yeah.
He has, so many moves inside,
right.
And he's able to use his body because he's a bigger body than Pau Gasol.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, both of those guys in their heyday were pretty tough to beat.
Yeah.
And Pau Gasol, his spin move in the post, that thing was nasty.
Yeah.
And you can see it on some of the highlights that they show of him. He would just leave guys in the dust.
Right. Whereas Marc Gasol is a more physical player all the way around.
Yeah. Malali asks, Coach, which NBA player do you play like?
Kyrie Irving, of course.
Yeah. Brian Scalabrine.
Okay, that'll be good.
Yeah, I mean, both of us don't play so much anymore.
Yeah.
We don't really have time to play as much as we'd like.
It was kind of hard for me to get my body to move.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm starting to feel more like that every year too.
Okay. Thanks for asking.
Yeah. Let's see here. Fire Type Hunter 21 says, which is more important, good shooting or good passing?
Oh, they're both really important.
What puts something on the scoreboard?
Yeah. The shooting, we take kind of a shooting first mentality as far as offense goes. But passing is really important too. And one of the things that I find so frustrating for me, because I deal with a lot of high school players, and many of them are girls and whatnot, and I get so frustrated on how incompetent their passing skills really are. And
a lot of times it's people afraid to pass it into the post. They aren't sure how to even get passes off because they don't know fake a pass and make a pass.
Yeah, and that the comment that Casey was just making there is one that we stand by really wholehearted, and that is we want to fake a pass someplace else to make the pass we want to make over here. And the other thing that's really important is oftentimes we can't anticipate where our offensive P-mate is going to be. And, really good players, they'll see somebody that is breaking out and they'll throw a lead pass to them that they run and catch. In fact, one of the things you'll find is on offenses like the Spurs and whatnot, that person that is receiving the pass is the one that is responsible for receiving the pass, not the person necessarily that's throwing it. But I think they're both equally important, and I think you better be good at both of them. And one thing you're leaving out there is you have to be able to put the ball on the floor.
That's what I was going to say. It's almost, I'm not going to say a silly question, but it's not a question that serves any good to anybody. Because are you asking because you would rather focus on one or the other? I mean, to us, that is the wrong approach to basketball. You should be focusing on being not just efficient or proficient at all of them. You should be, just masters of shooting and masters of passing
and being able to dribble and put the ball on the floor. I mean,
because if you can't shoot, then you're going to have an attack, and if you can't have if you don't have an attack, you're going to have to shoot.
Well, no, if you don't have an attack and you can't shoot it, you're going to be sitting on the sideline watching everybody else.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that people will exploit your weaknesses, and if you can't pass, you won't get these opportunities. So don't focus on, being a better passer is better. I'm going to focus on that. Or if I can shoot, then I can play.
Yeah,
that's not the case.
Right.
If Steph Curry could only shoot, that guy would not score any of the points that he actually scores. Yeah. One of the reasons why he's able to score so much is they have to respect his attack on the basket as well. And he's also moving without the ball, and he's passing and creating other opportunities. So really focus on being an all-around, well versatile player, or very versatile player. Okay, let's lightning around this a little bit because we're running out of time. Kareem says, how many years did you play basketball? Since I was like 5 years old. I mean, you probably played since you were, a teenager? Or?
I started when I was about 12.
12?
That wasn't yesterday, so it's been a long time.
Yeah. Fire type 127 says, no, I'm just curious to which you think is more important in the game. We think both are important.
Yeah, they really are.
You really can't have one emphasis over the other.
Yeah.
If you have a team that's really good at passing, but they can't put the ball in the bucket, who cares if they can pass?
Yeah.
And if they can only shoot, but they can't get those shooting opportunities because they can't pass, who cares?
Yeah.
You have to have every aspect going for you.
You really do. I'm going to tell a little short story here. Do we have a tough time?
You always bring these up when we get into the lightning round.
Okay.
So.
Well, here's a little situation. I can remember a few years back we were playing this guy who could really shoot the basketball. I mean, he was averaging 25, 26 points a game, and he could really shoot it. But after watching him play for a little bit, realized that when he attacked the basket, he was a right-hander, and if he attacked the basket with his left hand, he'd always take one dribble and pick it up. Okay, when he would attack on his right hand, he would take one or two and then pick it up. And so what we did is we got up close to him, and I mean close enough that we could smell his breath kind of close, and we forced him to go to his left hand on the shot. And what happened was he got 2 points in the first half, and they were both free throws because he didn't have that part of the game where he could take advantage of what we were doing defensively. Now, if he had the capability to put the ball on the floor, he would have kicked our buns. We wouldn't have had an answer for him. So the idea of being a well-rounded player is probably something that everybody should take into consideration and develop all aspects of your game, not just one or two.
Okay, Kanal is asking how to have an explosive first step.
Okay. You want to cover that one?
I think that having an explosive first step is one of those things that you have to work on, just getting the repetition and building that muscle memory and just even utilizing those muscles. So
strength. I mean, that's important.
Yeah, so I think that first step, one of the best things you can do is work on your jab step so that you're able to use that step and put it in the place that you want it to go, and really working on getting it consistent, and then making sure you can do a cross step as well, and doing anything that is going to really develop your athleticism. So if you look at things like our vertical jump series, we have one on YouTube, and we have our more in-depth thing on shotscience.com in the all access area. But if you work on that stuff, you will start to develop kind of the foot speed and that explosiveness, because that explosiveness comes from power and stability and balance. And if you start getting that going for you, you're going to be able to have that very fast, explosive first step.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's going to be it for the questions today. If we
right.
didn't get to your question, it's not because we don't like you. It's just because we ran out of time. You can always answer or ask your question next week, or you can send it to us during, on any of our social media stuff. So we are on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. Just send it to us at we're Shot Science on everything. Make sure you guys go to shotscience.com and check out all the good stuff we have there. We have shirts. You get a shirt and you post it on social media with hashtag Team Shot Science. We try to feature people on our Facebook page and on our Instagram, which have a lot of people that follow it. And if you do any training videos, oh man, we would love to see that stuff. Make sure you tell your friends and family about us. And before you go, we have 2 questions we want answered. Number 1 is our question of the week that we have every week, and that is, where are you guys from? So let us know where in the world you guys are from. And number 2, what is one offensive move that you're going to work on today? So if you're having trouble like figuring out which move you should do, go to our offensive moves category or our playlist. I can't talk right now for some reason, but go to our offensive moves playlist and pick one of those to work on. But let us know which one you're going to do and leave it here in the chat. So where are you from? Which offensive move are you going to work on? Follow all of our stuff, Shot Science, and we'll see you guys next time.
All right, thanks, guys.
See you later.